moving around. We're living in the future. Just 30 years ago, the idea of using screens to connect to anyone around the world and allow us to see our friends and family at the touch of a button was the realm of science fiction. Today, we do it all the time using things like Skype or FaceTime. But using these technologies does not allow us to feel as connected as we do when we are face to face. We get distracted by other people and things near us, and important bits of body language go unnoticed. So you see, being on a video call is not quite as good as being in the same room as the person we are talking to, lacking something fundamental found in face-to-face interaction. But we are not that far away from being able to feel like we are present somewhere that we are not, and connect to distant people on a level that is not possible with current technology. Imagine we had remote, mobile versions of ourselves that would allow us to explore the world and communicate in a way that is easy and accessible to everyone. A social robot avatar, like the one I'm using to talk to you, is the technology I believe that can get us there. Not only that, but it can help us push towards the science fiction ideal of having helpful, human-like robots, such as C-3PO, be part of our everyday lives. As a child, I couldn't get enough of science fiction stories filled with robots, and I decided when I grow up, I wanted to make them. Now, I work in Bristol Robotics Laboratory, where we are working to make the science fiction dreams of my childhood a reality. On the Being There project, we are working on developing and testing this social robot avatar system, where the voice you hear and the actions you see are mine. I can see you all through cameras in the robot's eyes, and my head and arm movements are being tracked so the robot is copying my gestures. The robot is effectively acting as me, and I feel like I'm present where the robot is standing. So I can talk with all of you, wave, and feel like I'm centre stage, where even though I'm really over there. Likewise, you can see my movements, respond to me, and feel like I am the centre of attention. On the Being There project, the end goal is to tackle a real human issue, social isolation, where people can feel lonely and disconnected from the rest of the world due to a lack of human contact. And this can happen to people who struggle with social interactions, such as those with Asperger's or autism, for whom everyday situations like visiting a busy shop or meeting new people can be overwhelming and difficult. Interacting via a robot avatar can help them overcome these difficulties, especially if the robot is able to generate some of the needed social cues for them. Another reason people become isolated is if they have trouble getting places, and using a robot avatar can allow them to feel like they're present somewhere where they can talk to people and have a genuine human connection. What if a housebound grandparent could play remote games with their grandchildren and the robot could be controlled in a way that is easy for them? To get to where we can tackle these issues, we have been looking at what it means to interact via a robot avatar. Can it bridge the gap between face-to-face interaction and video calls? And in doing so, we have found some fascinating things that a robot can do that a screen or a phone simply cannot. To look at these things needs not only experts in human-robot interaction like me, but also experts in human-human interaction to ensure we look at human behaviour in the correct way. So that's one of the really important things about the Being There project, is that roboticists work alongside psychologists to better design experiments that deal with the idiosyncrasies of human behaviour. One of the things we've been looking at is that people are hardwired to notice physical motion, even in their peripheral vision. So having a robot that gestures makes a big difference. People are more engaged with the robot, are more aware and have a better understanding of what the controller is doing and saying. Now it's easy to see how this might be better communication technology for all of us. maybe allow us to attend an important business meeting on the other side of the world. But we see great potential for this system when talking to groups of people for whom gesturing, engagement and connectedness are of vital importance, such as young children or the elderly, so we could use an avatar for remote care or remote teaching. When thinking about these potential uses for the system, it's important to be aware of what the effect is of having a robot appearance. We judge each other all the time, not only on what we say, but also on how we look. And it turns out we judge robot appearances too. So looking like a robot changes how the personality of the controller is perceived. For example, the cute childlike looks of this now robot can make me seem more extroverted. Now, we aren't suggesting that we only use robot avatars to communicate, to avoid these unconscious biases. But it is useful to think about what might be the important factors and how they might impact in certain situations, such as the first round of interviews for an important job, or the testimony from vulnerable witnesses in court cases. In looking at how people interact via the robot avatar, we are learning important things about how best to communicate, such as when and how to gesture, what behaviours and appearance are needed to create the correct impression. And we are just beginning to use this information to figure out how to make some of the robot's behaviours automatic, to figure out which things we should copy and how they can be triggered. This is a vital part of the process to make the system accessible to everyone, especially those who are socially isolated, who might not want to or even be able to stand around in front of a motion tracker waving their arms. So we need to adapt the control system to suit them. This whole process of looking at how people interact with a robot avatar and how to make behaviours automatic is an important part of this project for me and my dreams of the robots of science fiction, as it not only helps in what we are looking at right now, but also to develop robot communication to get to a point where robots like C3PO are possible. Robots are more than just industrial tools or toys. They have the potential to help us in our everyday lives, to help us stay connected, and to learn more about ourselves. Thank you.